The other mercenaries, Zeichster realized, the ones who disappeared, the Void Runners. Successful transitions, all of them, Reese said. Well, mostly successful, the Void Runners adapted particularly well. They now operate in 11 dimensions simultaneously, quite the tactical advantage. The Spire's pulse grew stronger and Zeichster saw the truth. The humans hadn't been testing technology, they'd been evolving it, growing it. The ship itself was a hybrid of human engineering and something else, something that existed in the spaces between conventional reality. You're insane, he whispered, playing with forces beyond your comprehension. Winter's smile turned predatory. No, Zeichster, we comprehend them perfectly. We've spent centuries preparing for this, hiding our true research behind a facade of primitive technology. Now, with the help of beings like you, we're ready to take our place as the architects of a new reality. The spire shattered, or perhaps it had always been shattered, and was only now deciding to show them. Reality fractured with it, and Zeichster saw everything at once. Past, present, future, all merging into a kaleidoscope of possibility. He saw other versions of himself, some crystalline, some energy, some existing in states he had no words for. The payment was never about money, was it? He managed to ask, feeling his consciousness expanding beyond the boundaries of conventional space. Consider your debt to the Syndicate erased, Winter said, her form shifting between human and something far more complex. In fact, consider the very concept of debt meaningless. Where we're going, such limited constructs have no meaning. The chamber filled with light that wasn't light, sound that wasn't sound. Zeichster felt his crystalline form resonating with frequencies from beyond the veil of normal space. His last coherent thought was a realization. The humans hadn't been lying about testing technology. They had been lying about being human at all. Consciousness returned to Zeichster in waves of impossible sensation. His crystalline form had changed, becoming something that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Where once he perceived reality through military-grade sensors and combat interfaces, he now saw everything. The chamber that had housed the Nexus had transformed into a space that defied conventional geometry. Captain Winter and her team stood nearby, their forms fluctuating between human appearance and something far more abstract. Other beings moved through the space, the missing mercenaries, he realized, though missing wasn't the right word anymore. They hadn't been lost, they'd been elevated. The transition was smoother than expected, Dr. Blackwood noted, his voice resonating across multiple frequencies of reality. Your crystalline neural structure adapted remarkably well. Zeichster tried to speak, but instead of words, fractals of pure thought emerged. What have you done to me? We've freed you from the constraints of linear existence, Winter explained. Her form settled briefly into human shape, perhaps for his comfort. But that's just the beginning, there's something you need to see. The walls of the chamber dissolved, revealing the true nature of the ship. It wasn't a vessel in any conventional sense, but a fold in spacetime itself, a bubble of controlled reality operating under laws the rest of the galaxy couldn't comprehend. Through his enhanced perception, Zeichster saw other ships, hundreds of them, hidden in dimensional pockets throughout human space. For centuries, the galaxy saw us as primitives, Winter continued. Late arrivals stumbling onto the galactic stage. It suited our purposes to maintain that illusion while we prepared. Prepared for what? Zeichster's thoughts crystallized into patterns of light. A new figure entered the space, walking through what appeared to be solid matter. Admiral Jensen, his uniform rippling with calculations and probability matrices. Prepared for the arrival of the architects, he said. The entities that exist beyond conventional spacetime, the ones who taught us the truth about reality. Images flooded Zeichster's expanded consciousness. Earth's first contact, not with alien ships but with tears in reality itself. Beings of pure mathematics and possibility, reaching across dimensional boundaries to touch human minds. The decades of secret development, hiding their true advances behind a facade of primitive technology. The galaxy's great powers think they've contained us, Jensen continued, his form briefly showing the complexity of his true nature. Restricted our expansion, limited our access to advanced technology, but you can't contain what you can't comprehend. Through the dimensional windows, Zeichster watched human ships emerge from impossible angles, bypassing defense systems that only worked in normal space. The Void Runners, now he understood their true purpose, moved through the darkness between realities, preparing the way. The architects are returning, Winter said, but the galaxy isn't ready for direct contact. The shock would shatter most species' consciousness, that's why we need translators. beings who can bridge the gap between conventional existence and what lies beyond. The other mercenaries Zykster realized, you've been recruiting us too. To help ease the transition, Blackwood confirmed. To prevent the chaos that direct contact would cause. Think of it as an evolutionary step guided by those who understand both sides of the dimensional divide. Suddenly, alarms blared across multiple frequencies of reality. Lieutenant Reese's form snapped into focus. We have company. The Galactic Council's finally noticed something's wrong. Their fleet just dropped out of FTL. Through layers of folded space, Zykster saw them, 50 capital ships representing the combined might of the galaxy's ruling species. Their weapons powered up, targeting systems seeking locks on the human vessel. Winter smiled, the expression visible across all her forms. Right on schedule, Admiral. Jensen nodded, his uniform now clearly showing its true nature, not cloth but living mathematics. Execute Phase 3, show them what they've been too blind to see. The human ship unfolded. There was no other word for it, though the process hurt to observe even with Zykster's enhanced perception. What had appeared to be a single vessel revealed itself as a nexus point for dozens of ships, all existing in the same space through dimensional manipulation. The Council fleet opened fire, and their weapons passed through empty space. The human ships existed in multiple states simultaneously, making conventional targeting impossible. Zykster watched in awe as the vessels moved in patterns that ignored normal physics, attacking from angles that shouldn't exist. This isn't a war, he realized, it's an announcement. Precisely, Winter said, watching the Council fleet's formations break apart in confusion. We could have done this at any time in the past 50 years. But now the architects are ready to reveal themselves, and the galaxy needs to understand its place in a larger reality. Through his new senses, Zykster perceived movement in the spaces between spaces. The Void Runners were emerging, their ships now visible for what they truly were, hybridized constructs of matter and possibility. And behind them, in dimensions that normal space couldn't contain, something vast was stirring. The architects were coming, and the galaxy would never be the same. Lieutenant Reese's form fluctuated with excitement. The Council fleet is retreating. Their sensors must be overloading from trying to process what they're seeing. They'll be back, Jensen said, with more ships, more weapons, and more ignorance of what they're truly facing. That's why we need you, Zykster, all of you, to help them understand that this isn't an invasion, it's an evolution. Zykster watched as reality rippled around the retreating Council ships, his new consciousness processing implications that his old self could never have grasped. The humans hadn't conquered the galaxy through force. They'd simply opened a door that could never be closed. And now they were inviting everyone through it, whether they were ready or not. The galaxy erupted into chaos within hours of the Council fleet's retreat. Zykster watched through his enhanced senses as fear spread faster than light itself. Species that had dismissed humans as primitive now faced a terrifying revelation. Their supposed technological superiority had been an illusion all along. From his position aboard the Dimensional Nexus, he observed emergency sessions of the Galactic Council through probability spaces. Representatives argued in circles, their minds unable to fully grasp what they'd witnessed. Their sensors and probes continued to fail, detecting human ships everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. They're gathering a larger fleet, Lieutenant Reese reported, his form shifting through combat algorithms. Every major species is contributing ships, even the Syndicate has pledged its forces. Admiral Jensen's laugh rippled across multiple dimensions. They still think this is a military problem they can solve, how disappointing. Through the dimensional windows, Zykster watched the combined fleet assemble. Over 500 capital ships representing the most advanced technology in conventional space. Under normal circumstances, such a force could reduce entire star systems to ash. But circumstances were no longer normal. They're not the only ones mobilizing, Winter said, her form coalescing from streams of data. The changes are spreading faster than expected, show him, Doctor. On the bridge of the Hyperion, Rhodes watched the chaos unfold with a mixture of satisfaction and regret. This was not what humanity had wanted. They had sought equality, partnership, a chance to take their rightful place among the stars. Instead, their supposed superiors had forced them to demonstrate their power in the only language the galaxy seemed to understand. Captain, Patel called out, her voice urgent. Priority transmission from Earth Command. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session. They're requesting your presence. Rhodes turned to his crew, seeing in their faces the same determination that had driven humanity to this point. Well, he said, it seems we've finally got their attention. Plot a course for the Council chambers, Lieutenant Kane. It's time the galaxy's leaders learned exactly what humanity is capable of. As the Hyperion prepared to jump to the Galactic Council's location, news of the battle spread across the stars at faster-than-light speeds. Humanity's message had been delivered, written in the language of power and technological superiority. The galaxy would never be the same, and this was only the beginning. The journey to the Galactic Council chambers gave Captain Rhodes time to reflect on the true story behind the Hyperion's creation. Few knew the sacrifices, the dedication, and the sheer human stubbornness that had brought them to this moment. 50 years ago, in the hidden laboratories beneath Earth's Pacific Ocean, Dr. Diana Wright had made the breakthrough that would change everything. While the alien races watched Earth's official space program with dismissive amusement, she and her team worked in secret to unlock the mysteries of quantum-fold technology. Captain, Lieutenant Kane's voice pulled Rhodes from his memories. We're receiving a transmission from Project Director Wright. Rhodes straightened in his chair. Even now, Diana Wright continued to guide the project she had started half a century ago, put her through secure channel. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the face of an elderly woman whose sharp eyes had lost none of their intensity. Marcus, she said, her voice carrying the weight of decades of secrecy, the Archon Alliance has just declared war on Earth. They're mobilizing their entire fleet. The Archons, a species of energy beings who had long claimed superiority over primitive biological life forms. Their entry into the conflict threatened to turn an already dangerous situation into a catastrophe. They're scared, Technical Officer Zhao observed, his fingers dancing across his console as he fine-tuned the Nexus core. The Archons built their empire on their supposed technological superiority. The Hyperion proves they're not as advanced as they claimed. Rhodes nodded. Dr. Wright is the secondary system ready. It is. A ghost of a smile crossed Diana's weathered face. Project Prometheus is operational. If the Archons want to learn why they should have never underestimated humanity, they're about to get their lesson. The Hyperion emerged from quantum space near the Council chambers, only to find itself facing the combined might of the Archon war fleet. Hundreds of ships, their hulls crackling with pure energy, formed a barrier between the human vessel and its destination. Energy spike, Torres called out from his station. They're channeling power through their entire fleet. I've never seen readings like this. The Archon ships began to glow, their forms becoming almost too bright to look at as they pooled their energy into a single devastating weapon. It was their ultimate show of force, a blast that could theoretically tear a planet apart. All hands battle stations, Rhodes commanded, his voice calm despite the imminent threat. Dr. Wright, initiate Prometheus protocol. Deep within the Hyperion's quantum-folded hull, the Nexus core began to pulse with new energy. This was humanity's greatest secret, not just a weapon or a defense system, but a fundamental reimagining of how reality itself worked. The Archon fleet fired their combined weapon, a beam of pure energy that made the Nexari solar cannons look like flashlights in comparison. But as the blast approached the Hyperion, something impossible happened. Prometheus engaging, Zhao announced, his voice filled with professional pride. Quantum field stable, reality anchors holding. The energy beam struck not the Hyperion's shields, but a field of altered spacetime that the ship had generated around itself. For a moment, it seemed as if reality itself had divided into two separate layers, one where the blast struck true, and another where it had never existed at all. Then, in a display of technology that bordered on the miraculous, the Hyperion absorbed the entire attack. Not just deflected or survived, absorbed. The ship's Prometheus system, the culmination of Dr. Wright's life's work, had taken the Archon's ultimate weapon and turned it into fuel. Power levels at 300%, Zhao reported, almost laughing. The core is processing their energy faster than they can generate it. On the Archon command ship, Supreme Commander Vox watched in disbelief as the impossible unfolded before him. What are they? He demanded of his advisors. What kind of beings could create such technology? The answer came in the form of a transmission from the Hyperion. Dr. Wright's face appeared on every screen in the Archon fleet, her expression one of quiet satisfaction. "We are human," she stated simply. "While you watched us with contempt, we were learning. While you blocked our progress, we were innovating. While you thought us primitive, we were evolving. The Hyperion isn't just a warship, it's humanity's declaration that we will no longer be bound by your limitations." As if to emphasize her point, the Hyperion began to move. Its hull now glowed with the stolen energy of the Archon weapon, each particle reconfigured and repurposed by the Prometheus system. The ship didn't attack, it didn't need to. Instead, it simply passed through the Archon fleet as if their ships weren't even there, the quantum fold technology allowing it to exist partially out of phase with normal space. The message was clear. Humanity had not just caught up to the galaxy's most advanced species, they had surpassed them. The Hyperion continued its journey to the council chambers, leaving behind a fleet of supposedly superior beings who had just learned a harsh lesson about underestimating the human spirit. As they approached their destination, Rhodes looked at the faces of his crew, the best of humanity, chosen to represent their species in this moment of triumph. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them the warriors of Earth have kept their promise. The age of oppression is over." The Galactic Council chambers hung in space like a massive crystalline flower, its transparent petals reflecting the light of distant stars. As the Hyperion approached, Captain Rhodes could feel the weight of history pressing down on his shoulders. Inside that structure, the fate of humanity would be decided. "Multiple ships dropping out of quantum space," Lieutenant Kane reported, her voice tense. They're everywhere, Captain." She wasn't exaggerating. From every direction, vessels of all sizes and configurations emerged. Not just military ships, but diplomatic cruisers and civilian craft. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy had come to witness this moment. "Incoming transmission from the council chamber," Communications Officer Patel announced. "They're requesting our surrender." Rhodes allowed himself a grim smile. "After everything we've shown them, they still don't understand. Prepare for emergency protocols, Dr. Wright." The scientist's hologram flickered to life. "The Terminus protocol is ready, Marcus, but are you sure? Once we activate it, there's no going back." Before Rhodes could respond, the sensors blared a warning. Energy signatures were building up all around them, not just from military vessels, but from the council chamber itself. The entire structure was transforming, its crystalline petals realigning into a massive weapon. "They're going to fire on us with the chamber's core reactor," Zhao reported, his fingers flying over his console. "The power readings, it's beyond anything we've encountered. Even Prometheus might not be able to absorb this." The galaxy's leaders had played their final card. The council chamber's reactor was powered by the heart of a dying star, contained within quantum bottles and regulated by technology from a dozen different species. If they couldn't defeat humanity's warship, they would destroy it along with themselves. "All hands brace for impact," Rhodes commanded. "Activate Terminus protocol." Deep within the Hyperion's quantum-folded hull, something stirred. The Nexus core pulsed with new energy as the Terminus protocol, humanity's ultimate contingency plan, came online. Dr. Wright's face showed both pride and concern as she watched her life's work reach its final stage. The council chamber fired. A beam of pure stellar energy, hot enough to vaporize planets, struck the Hyperion dead center. For a moment, it seemed as if the human vessel would finally fall. The quantum-fold hull groaned under the strain, reality itself bending around the point of impact. But then something extraordinary happened. "Terminus active," Zhao shouted over the sound of straining metal. "Quantum field it's stabilizing, the core is accepting the energy." The Hyperion didn't just survive the blast, it began to change. The quantum-fold hull rippled and shifted, its surface flowing like liquid metal. The ship was evolving, adapting in real time to the overwhelming power being directed at it. "By all the stars," Lieutenant Kane whispered, watching her displays in awe, "the ship is learning." This was the true purpose of the Terminus protocol, not just a weapon or a defense system, but the next step in human innovation. The Hyperion wasn't just a warship, it was a test bed for technology that would revolutionize humanity's understanding of the universe itself. As the council chamber's beam continued to pour energy into the ship, the Hyperion's transformation accelerated. New structures emerged from its hull, crystalline formations that pulsed with internal light. The quantum fold technology was rewriting itself, creating new configurations that even Dr. Wright hadn't predicted. "Message to all ships," Rhodes commanded, his voice carrying the authority of someone who knew they held the future in their hands. The Hyperion was never meant to be a weapon of war. It was designed to be a bridge, a demonstration that humanity could not only match but exceed the technological achievements of any species in the galaxy. On screens throughout the assembled fleet, the transformation of the human vessel played out in real time. The ship now bore little resemblance to its original form, having evolved into something that defied conventional understanding. We could have used this technology to destroy, Rhodes continued. Instead, we chose to show you what cooperation between species could achieve. The Hyperion's quantum fold technology, the Prometheus system, even the Terminus protocol, all of these were created by studying and improving upon discoveries shared across the galaxy. The Council Chamber's beam finally flickered and died, its power reserves exhausted. In its place, the transformed Hyperion hung in space like a newborn star, its evolved form a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The choice remains the same, Rhodes declared to the watching galaxy. We can work together, share our knowledge, and grow beyond our current limitations, or you can continue to fight us to deny us our place among the stars. But know this: humanity will never again accept the role of inferior beings. We have earned our place in the galaxy. As the captain's words echoed across space, the assembled ships faced a moment of truth. Would they accept this new reality, or would they force humanity to demonstrate even more of their hidden capabilities? The galaxy stood at a breaking point, and the next few moments would determine whether it would shatter or transform. Silence fell across the galaxy as the transformed Hyperion hung in space, its crystalline structures pulsing with otherworldly energy. The ship had become something beyond conventional understanding, a bridge between what was possible and what humanity could imagine. Multiple ships powering down weapons, Lieutenant Kane reported, her voice steady despite the tension. The Drachnid fleet is withdrawing to a defensive position. The Archons, they're standing down. On the bridge of the Hyperion, Captain Rhodes watched as the galaxy's most powerful civilizations faced a choice that would define their future. The ship's transformation had shown them something they had never expected, that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in weapons or warfare, but in the ability to evolve and adapt. Incoming transmission, Officer Patel announced. It's from the High Council themselves. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the assembled leaders of the galaxy's major powers. The Drachnid Emperor, his scaled features unreadable, the ethereal form of the Archon Supreme, the crystalline consciousness of the Nexari Collective, all of them facing humanity's representatives with new understanding in their eyes. We have witnessed something extraordinary today, the Drachnid Emperor began, his translated voice carrying across all frequencies. Something that challenges everything we believed about the natural order of the galaxy. Dr. Wright's hologram appeared beside Rhodes, her aged face serene. What you've witnessed is only the beginning, she said. The Hyperion's transformation proves that the boundaries between organic and technological evolution are not fixed. Every species in this galaxy has the potential to grow beyond their current limitations. The Archon Supreme's energy form pulsed with interest. You speak of cooperation, yet you created a weapon capable of overwhelming our combined might. How can we trust such power? Rhodes stepped forward. The Hyperion was never meant to be just a warship. It's a proof of concept evidence that when we study and build upon each other's achievements, we can create something greater than the sum of its parts. As if to emphasize his point, the transformed ship began to emit a soft, pulsing light. Data streams flowed from its crystalline structures, carrying detailed technical information about its systems. Not weapons specifications or military secrets, but scientific knowledge. The fundamental principles behind quantum fold technology, the Prometheus system, and the evolutionary capabilities of the Terminus protocol. We're transmitting this data to every scientific institution in the galaxy, Dr. Wright announced. This knowledge belongs to all of us. Use it, improve upon it, share your discoveries. This is how we grow stronger together. The council chambers erupted in discussion as the implications became clear. Humanity wasn't seeking to dominate, they were offering to share advancements that could benefit all species. There will be those who oppose this change, the Nexari Collective warned, their crystalline voice resonating with concern. Not all will welcome such a dramatic shift in the balance of power. Then they will face not just humanity, but all those who understand that our future lies in cooperation, not conquest, Rhodes replied. The age of isolation and suppression is over. The galaxy is entering a new era, one where every species has the opportunity to reach their full potential. As the council debated, the transformed Hyperion began to pulse with new energy. The quantum-fold hull shifted again, but this time it wasn't just the ship that was changing. The space around it rippled as if reality itself was being gently reshaped. The Terminus Protocol isn't just about technological evolution, Dr. Wright explained, her hologram glowing with pride. It's about breaking down the barriers between what we think is possible and what we can achieve together. The ship's crystalline structures began to resonate with the council chambers, creating a harmonic frequency that spread throughout nearby space. Where the vibrations touched, new possibilities seemed to bloom, technological systems upgraded themselves, communication networks expanded their capabilities, and the very fabric of spacetime became more malleable to controlled manipulation. This is humanity's true gift to the galaxy, Rhodes declared. Not weapons or warships, but the knowledge that we can all evolve beyond our current limitations. The Terran Age isn't about human dominance, it's about unlocking the potential that exists in every species. One by one, the council members signaled their agreement. The Drachnid Empire, the Archon Alliance, the Nexari Collective, former enemies now united in the pursuit of knowledge and growth. The galaxy was transforming, not through force of arms, but through the power of shared innovation and cooperation. As the council session concluded, Rhodes looked at his crew, the brave men and women who had carried humanity's hopes across the stars. They had come prepared for war but had achieved something far greater, peace through progress. Send word to Earth, he ordered, a smile finally breaking through his stern expression. Tell them the Terran Age has begun, not with a victory in battle but with a victory for all species. The stars are no longer our limit, they're just the beginning. The transformed Hyperion pulsed one final time, its light reaching across the galaxy like a beacon of hope. Humanity had changed the course of history not through destruction, but through the greatest power of all, the ability to imagine a better future and the determination to make it real.